cream filling? Like, how do you blame that on God? Like, if God is shoving donuts down your face, that's the day you become an atheist. I think that's the day that you say, this religion thing is not for me. I'm gonna die soon. And some of you are with me, and some of you think I don't have the right to talk about this because I'm skinny. I understand that. Some of you might be a little bit mad at me. But for those of you who are mad at me, let me tell you this. I used to weigh over 300 pounds. I did. I weighed over 300 pounds, and I worked it off. I woke up every day of my life, and I jogged for 10 miles until that shit was done. I have completely lied to all of you. That never happened. Are you kidding me? I always look like this. But if your opinion of me changed, you're a hypocrite, you should know that about yourself. So, my point is, I don't like talking to people on airplanes. So, I bring a pillow with me. That's my trick. I bring a pillow, a real live pillow. Yeah, not live, that's terrifying. I mean a pillow, like an actual bedroom pillow. Not like that tissue paper crap that they give you and have the gall to call a pillow. I mean an actual real pillow with a pillowcase that's not made out of a magazine. Like that kind of pillow. And so I was flying to Charlotte, and I put the pillow down, and I put my head down to go to sleep, and the stewardess comes rushing over. And I know that they wanted to call flight attendants now. I know that. But she was a bitch. I'll call what I want. So she comes rushing over, and she says, you can't have a pillow in the exit row. And I said, but I do. It appears we're at an impasse. And she said, well, what if we crash? I said, it'll probably help. I'm assuming it's soft, it's buoyant. Those are really the two things you look for in a plane crash. I'm already in the crash position as you're yelling at me. I think I'm prepared, is what I'm saying. And she said, well, no, but if people have to get by the pillow, what will you do? I said, I will let them step on my pillow. Because I'm not a monster. You think if someone's on fire screaming, I would just be like, hey, please watch the pillow. Seriously, can you watch the pillow? I paid $8 for that. I know you're on fire, but come on, $8. I won't even be there to say anything. I'm in the exit row. I'll be the first one the hell off the plane, right? But she keeps at it. And she says, no, people have to get by, and it slows them down. And I said, how hilariously tiny are the people on your airplane? That this is going to slow them down. It's a pillow. They will knock it out of the way. That's what will happen instantly. It will be like air. I've never seen a movie where they get to the end of a tunnel. Turn back at the pillow! I've never seen that happen. Because it couldn't, because that would be ridiculous. And she said, and by the way, the guy on the other end of the aisle for me was so big, he could Kool-Aid Man his way out of the plane. He didn't even need help. He was wearing red. It was particularly funny. It was just like, oh yeah, never mind. All right, so some of you too young to get the reference, some of you too old to get the reference, no one in between. All right, so this is such an eclectic mix of like, everyone is my age if you add and divide. Everyone here is my age. So, all right, anyway, she said to me, I'm gonna confiscate your pillow. And I said to her, you're gonna have to give me a good reason. And she said the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I've heard a lot of crazy things. I'm a stand-up comedian, so you guys talk to me after the show. I've had a lifetime of crazy. Some of you, again, took out personally. So she says to me something so crazy, it's going to haunt me. It's going to interrupt my death. Have you ever had someone say something that crazy to you that you know this is going to stick with you the rest of your life while you try to figure out the crazy? Like, I'm going to flash back to the greatest moments of my life, like the day I met my wife and the day I became a comic, and then what this sky bitch said to me, because it was so ridiculous. May I remind you, all I said was, you're going to have to give me a good reason. And then she said, crazy things can happen in a plane crash. A paper cut could decapitate someone in a plane crash.
Oh my God.
Those words in that order on purpose. Like, that's what she said. A paper cut could decapitate someone in a plane crash. What else is ping-ponging around in her head that that's what she landed on? Like, I like peanut butter. Do you swim? Like, what else has she got? A paper cut could decapitate someone in a plane crash? And I like to think I'm a pretty clever person. This is what I do for a living. I can usually know what you're going to say to me based on what I've said to you. Not that time, no. No, because all I said was you're going to have to give me a good reason. I didn't say something that'll fuck me up for 10 years. I didn't say that. I just said you're going to have to give me a good reason. And then she said a paper cut could decapitate someone in a plane crash. And all I said was, that's not a thing. In fairness, I wasn't wrong, but I wish I said something more clever. I wish I thought about it. I would have said something better. I would have said, no. No. I will not accept the premise that paper can decapitate someone in a plane crash. I'll accept the premise that the exact right velocity, the exact right angle, a paper cut could sever a vein, and I could bleed out, but paper's not going through bone. Paper's not going through bone. If it could, paper excision would finally make sense, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And it never will. But all I said was, that's not a thing. But the crazy train had another stop to make. Oh, she got another one in. She said, well, you've never been in a plane crash. You don't know. And I said, well, you're talking to me. You never been in a plane crash. I think. I think that's safe to assume. Maybe she's the sole survivor of a crash we never heard of. That's a possibility. The sole survivor of the great paper cut crash of 2004. Who's to say that hasn't happened? We just never heard of it because it wasn't reported on, because the media came to interview her, the newspaper came. She's like, no, I'm afraid of paper, so she wouldn't talk to them. So now no one knows that it happened, and she's got PTSD, and nobody knows why, and opening letters for her has become really difficult. And she goes to work surrounded every day by a minefield of Sudokus and Sky Malls, but she still does it because she's an American hero. Or maybe she's just an idiot, but who am I to judge? So I gave her the pillow. Wish I could tell you I won. I didn't win. I gave her the pillow. But it wasn't over. Because I put my sleep mask on. That's when shit got difficult. Because up to this point, I've still been joking around with her. But when she saw my sleep mask on, I lost my shit. Because she saw my sleep mask on and she shook me, which is assault. But she shook me and she said, you're going to have to give me that sleep mask. And I lost my shit. I was like, are people going to have a problem getting by this also? Is that going to block people's way? People are going to have trouble getting by a rubber band and cotton? Is that going to be a problem? And she said, well, no, what if we crash and you have to take it off? I said, then I'll take it off. How hard is that? This isn't locked. Here's a metric tray. Wow, what are you talking about? If I'm not going to be able to take it off. And she said, well, anything that can slow you down could kill you. I said, why am I in a seatbelt, you sadistic bitch? Why would you do that to me? You're going to lock me into something? That's going to kill me. It's going to kill all of us. Not even a regular seatbelt. It was one of those special little airplane lever for no reason. Every other seatbelt in the world. No, that one. And she said, well, what will you do if we crash and you're asleep? I said, I will wake the fuck up. That's what I'll do. I've never been in a plane crash, as you have pointed out, but I'm not sleeping through one. That I know. That I know. What kind of narcoleptic family do you have that you think people can sleep through a plane crash? Think everyone around you is on fire screaming, you're like, 5 more minutes, mommy. Do you think that's a possibility? Think there's anyone alive who's going to do that? Also, if I'm sleeping and we're crashing, how about you let me sleep? How about you do that for me? What kind of an asshole wakes someone up when you're crashing? Are you kidding me? If I'm lucky enough to be asleep, just let it happen. What are you going to hey, you were going to miss this. Yeah, you were going to die without knowing. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that you have fear in your heart. Thank you for flying U.S. Airways. We know you have a choice of airlines. They don't even pay me to say that joke. They don't even pay me to plug them. I have to say that's where it happened. If I could sleep through a plane crash, I'd have to send a thank you email to the sleep mask company. Right? Like, I would be a real dick to not send that email. Like, dear Dream Essentials. Recently, I was in a plane crash. Perhaps you read about it on the news because I was the sole survivor, and that's fucking crazy. I didn't think I could sleep through a plane crash. Then again, I've never been in a plane crash, so I don't know. Turns out I could sleep through a plane crash because I was wearing the Dream Essentials sleep mask. I wanted to make sure you knew that for your upcoming commercial campaign, Dream Essentials, you'll never die. I would also like to apologize for my earlier 3-star review on Amazon that the shipping was late. I was very upset. So that's the story that happened to me since I came here. Man, I like this town a lot. I do. Yeah, because not every town gives you 2 Panda Expresses. Like, usually you drive by one and you're like, thank God we have a Panda Express. You don't usually 3 miles later go, another one. Yeah, because on the way here, that's how I got here. It was like, because I'm staying in Laughlin, because I would have stayed in Bullet City, but you can't. So I'm staying in Laughlin, and I pull out of the hotel, and I take that right on 95, and it's like, oh yeah, it's just past the Panda Express. The other one. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's good, because I didn't want to have enough shitty Chinese food from one. Do you think that's an insult to Chinese people, that they call that Chinese food?
It's poison, man.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, if I were to show up, I'm Jewish. If someone were like, hey, we made you an authentic Jewish meal, it's chicken soup, and I get there and there's just a live chicken sitting in water. I'm like, yeah, just like you guys like. Authentic, just like at home. That's the equivalent, Panda Express. Chicken Express, or whatever it would be. But I do like it here. It is a bit weird with all the lights on, because I can see everyone's face. So I know when you're laughing, but I also know when you're looking at me with disdain. I also know exactly when you're like, no. I did not appreciate that one at all. I also know when you're gonna be right into the light. Good, burning. All right, good. No, it's a fluorescent though, so this will only be a safety hazard after they all fall down and one by one just hit people. They're balloons, it'll be fine. They could block an exit for we'd all burn alive to prison. I like the campus that numbers buildings instead of names them. That's good. Is it because no one's donated money yet? Like, this is going to be the Johnson building once we have a guy named Johnson who gives us money. Until now, it's just 100. What a coincidence. That's what it would cost to name the building. Give him $100. That building's Steve now. What's that one? Panda Express. So we're at a weird place in the country too. We're at the corner of 3 states, of Arizona, Nevada, and California. And every one of those states think the other one is crazy. And they don't realize that the only difference is a fucking bridge. Like, there was never, I drove down here we were in Visalia last night, Visalia, California, which it's like Bullhead City, but north. It's the same damn thing, and like because we're driving through, like when we stopped we went through Barstow, we went through Needles, and other places that I would have never heard of if I wasn't driving here today, and like there was never a moment where I'm like, this is California. This is what everybody's talking about when they see the Kardashians on TV. Yeah, they're thinking of Barstow, right? They're thinking of Barstow. Laughlin's just like Vegas. It's like Vegas got its ass kicked as a child. Just came out all bruised and bloody. We're still Nevada, right? Part of the family. But I can't make fun of Laughlin too much because Reno exists. And like Laughlin would be the shittiest city in Nevada. And you're like, no, Reno. Okay, yeah, Reno. Has anyone been to Reno?
Reno 911.
Reno 911. Yes, they have been to Reno because that's a show about there. Reno 911, or as you call it in real life, just Reno. The police are always policing. No, but it's good to be here though. It's good to be here because I've spent too much time in places that are like really obsessed with pot and cocaine. It's good to be back in the meth part of the world. Where you do drugs like adults, like adults with no teeth, like adults. I'm glad there's no one offended. I don't want anyone in the back of the room to be like, that's not funny, man, that's not funny. Yeah, because when you do too much meth, you lose your teeth, which is hilarious because you need teeth to say the word meth. That is nature's intervention. Oh man. I want to get to know you guys a little bit. As you can tell, for those of you who have not seen me before, as you can tell, my style is fairly unscripted. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit. I'm curious, who here is from the furthest away? Who thinks they're from the furthest away? Pennsylvania, your hand went up right away. Where are you from? Alaska. Why did your hand go back down? You were just waiting for other people to be like, let her say Pennsylvania, I'll fuck her up. Like that's Alaska. Damn. Anyone in Australia? No, you win. Okay. I was gonna make a joke about like, why'd you come here? But I know exactly why, because you're from damn Alaska. What part of Alaska are you from? Anchorage. Oh good, that's the part we've heard of. Good. Good for you. If you had said any other place, we would have been like, what's that? But no, Anchorage, we're like, yeah, that's the part that people live in. There's Anchorage, Juneau, Fairbanks, and the Iditarod. I just summarized Alaska for you. How old were you when you moved from Alaska? 2. Oh wow, they really wanted to see. Were you like an anchor baby? Army brat, okay. I was kidding about anchor baby, it's the same country. You were an Army brat. So was it your father or your mother or both? Father. So he was stationed in Alaska, protecting our borders from Canada. No, that's good, because we have Alaska on the other side of Canada, so that way if we ever invade Canada, we can get them from both directions. In case they ever stop being super polite to us. That would be the greatest invasion of all time. Canada come down and be like, we're sorry, we're very sorry, we're sorry. And take over your country, but we're very sorry about it. So Alaska, and then where did you go next? You're still eating stuff. You know I'm in the middle of asking you questions, but you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna just have a little bit more. Give me 2 minutes, I'll be done. I'll talk to Pennsylvania. Give me 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes of your time. Where after Alaska? Where did you go next? Tennessee. And then, you don't know. I'm just trying to have you just put push pins in the map of all the places I've never lived. Like Alaska, Tennessee, Bullet City. No offense, it's lovely this time of year. Washington, Indiana, Ohio. Yeah, you're really kind of knocking them all out there. Wow, that's awesome. So, Texas, Oklahoma, Germany. Yeah, I'm Jewish. Again, never lived in Germany. You're really just touring the world of places I'm terrified of. What? What'd you say? Oh, you can't just say something to a comic and then take it back. What'd you say? Oh, stop eating until I was done with her. Okay, yeah, you can say that, because I also said that. But apparently she needs reinforcement from someone in a red shirt. With the red shirt, that's the important shirt. That shows you belong here. For me, she's like, what's that asshole with a sweater with a microphone telling me to stop for? I just looked that way, that's terrifying. Okay, paper mache demons. What are those from? Does anyone know what those are from? I guess you guys wanted to be like, let's make him feel at home with the balloons. But then scare the ever-living shit out of him with 2 demons. Oh my god. I used to date the one in the purple. It was a long time ago. It was high school. I didn't know any better. Oh, that's so great. That balloon lost air already. Is that from a previous event? Yeah. That was from, you guys are like, these balloons might not even be for me. You guys just put these here the day after my last show. Like, let's just leave them here. You know what I love about your school? The removable ceiling tiles, I think. That's just class. When you can, at any point, you can just go into the ceiling if you wanted to. You guys don't find that as funny as me. Clearly, you're not used to actual drywall. Okay, but safety first. That way, in case one of the balloons catches fire, it only damages 4 ceiling tiles. You can just replace them really quickly. And nice. I'm now afraid that one of those is in one of the ceiling tiles.
Yes.
And you come down and get me. So we had Alaska. Is anyone here from Bullhead City? Anyone grew up here? You grew up here? Did you go to school here? Holy shit, do you own a car? No? Okay, that's why, yeah. Like I wanted to go anywhere. I was gonna go to Reno. Fuck it, I was gonna go to Reno. What year are you here?
What?
How long have you been in the school that we were standing in? 1 year. Okay, that was it was 1 or 2, right? Get a 50-50 shot. And probably better, since you know how long you've been here. You probably had a 100% shot to get that one right. The questions are only going to get harder. So your first year, how do you like it so far?
Good.
Good? All right, that says the person who's worried that her teachers might be in the room. That's a good strategy. Because that was a very non-committal answer. That wasn't like, oh, actually the activities are wonderful and I really get along with my classmates. That was like, yeah, it's good. Move along, please. Don't talk to me anymore. I don't want to. Fifth Amendment. I'm going to no incriminating evidence. Cool. And what about we have some either non-traditional students in the audience, or faculty members, or just older people from the community who this was the best fucking thing to do in Bullhead City. I'm not sure. Maybe a mix of all 3 of those groups. Well, you had so many choices. You could stare at the buffet at one of the casinos. You could
Puke your brains out at Panda Express.
You could what?
Puke your brains
out.
out.
Puke your brains out at Panda Express. I actually, just driving by the second one, I threw up. That's just by osmosis. It's what happened. I'm kidding. It's a lovely place full of chicken. All right, you guys really are not taking to those jokes as much as me. You guys need to like go to restaurants and shit and learn what food is, like actual food. Like Panda Express is like, you know what Panda Express is? Panda Express serves the stuff that they have in the commercials for the other food, like the prop food at the front of the restaurant. That's what Panda Express's meals are. They go around to all the other restaurants, they gather up the prop food, they boil it, and then they serve it to you. Somehow, and it tastes worse, somehow. They sponsor me, by the way. They sponsor me. I do all this just as a commercial for them, really. I'm kidding. Okay, moving on. All right. But what I'm curious about, I've been asking you guys questions. What I want to do is I want to turn around. I want to give the floor to you. So I'm not picking on you. You can pick on me. And here's what I'm going to do. I have 4 different comedy albums. They're all material you didn't hear tonight. They're all different from each other. If you want one after the show, great. If you want more than one, I'll give you a break on the second one. Does anyone want one for free?
Yes!
Yeah? Some of you, great. The rest of you, go fuck yourself. That was so rude. So rude. Anyone want one for free? No, not even free. No, I want to take one for free. It is just an imposition. I will have to find a trash can. There's one right there if you want. You can just take one for free. In fact, there's a trash can right behind my merchandise table. You can just go, thank you very much, and just throw it out immediately. Or you can use it to swat the bugs back that are invading your campus. Who, by the way, are all in their second year at school. They're advanced. So, here's the way you get one for free. What we're going to do is we're going to do a Q&A. So you can ask me any question you want, as ridiculous as you want, as personal as you want, and the question that leads to the best story, or the best joke, or the best whatever the hell happens after the question, gets a free CD. So we can play. Now, settle down. I didn't go there yet. All of a sudden, her hand shut up, like clearly a student. Like, call on me, teacher. Are you the one that asked for extra homework? Is that no? No, I appreciate you were excited to participate, although if you had a question that quickly, I am terrified of what it's going to be. We are going to start with you in a second. Before we do that, I want to let you know, I also have free stuff for you too. I got posters and postcards and stickers. Those are all free. The stickers, and I have little cards with my Facebook and my Twitter. Not MySpace, that is for homeless people. But if you're not on Facebook or Twitter or Reddit or YouTube or any of those, that's cool. Have a happy 87th birthday. Seriously, get with the program. It's the 90s. Come on, it is the 90s. It is not the 90s. I'm trying to scare the stoned people. I want to see what happens. I smoked myself back in time. No wonder the construction looks like this here. By the way, those casinos must have looked so good in 1972. Let me tell you, when those were built, even the font is old. Like, that's how you know a building is old, when you're like, what is that, sans serif? Okay, font joke nobody liked. All right. You will never hear a better font joke in your life, because you'll never hear another one, because why the hell would you make a font joke? So, I learned my lesson. You're an honest crowd. When you find something funny, you laugh. When you don't, you stop immediately. Which I appreciate. I always know where I stand with you. You're like, haha, no. So thank you for not hurting my feelings. For tough love. I appreciate that. So I got the free stuff. The way you do that, you sign up for my email list. That way you find out the next time I'm doing a show in Bullhead City. If I'm ever passing through on my way to die in the wilderness, you guys are totally on the way to that. I'd stop here, get some fake Chinese food, and then die in the wilderness. I'd probably die before I get there. That sounds awful. Anyway, so, but we covered that. So that way you get the free stuff. But most of all, come over and say what's up. I love talking to people after shows. I think conversation is a form of education, and education is a solution to the stupidity that we have in this world. I believe that. I think we can get together, we can teach the smart people to kill the stupid people. I think we can.
Natural selection.
I believe the children are our future. I'm glad you're with me on that one. I don't want to see anyone offended. Like, I don't want to die. So good for you for coming with. If you agree with my stance on stupidity, here's what you do. You get this t-shirt. It's cool. It says, your stupidity offends me. Here's what you do. You get one of these, then you get running shoes, because stupid people like to fight. Okay. This is actually the least offensive shirt you can ever wear, because no one dumb thinks it's about them. Because they're too dumb. Like, I'll come up to you and be like, yeah, me too. Be like, yeah, I bet it does. I bet it does. You pick up one of those. Also, I have this shirt. If any of you have a special redhead in your life, or you just enjoyed my comedy, and you want to get a t-shirt in support of us, you get this shirt. It says Redophile. Be very careful. Never let that happen. Never just walk around campus with this shirt, because then this looks like clown hair, and then you got to learn how to coach. So it's difficult. That joke will never get old. So now here's how we do it. We do the Q&A. So hopefully you've thought of your questions. I've given you enough time to think of lots of questions. Some of you needed no time whatsoever. And so you can ask me any question you want, provided you can see me between those balloon strings. I just realized this must have been difficult for you guys, because I am a very skinny person. Like, I just disappeared behind the mic stand right now. Like, I do not have much mass to me. I am 6'4", 130. No, that's disgusting. That is. I actually was that skinny at one point. I was 6'4", 132. I never got to 130. That would be ridiculous. I mean, I was 6'4", 132 because I had a terrible illness, and I got really sick, and I couldn't really eat for a month. And I told that to someone, and she said, "Oh my God, how do I do that?"
Oh my God!
You got to watch a very special episode of Different Strokes. That's what you need to do. That's a joke for the older people in the room. Again, no one my age. Everyone above. Okay. So your question in the I was about to say you in the red. Everyone. In the back. What do you got? What did they call me in high school? They didn't. Wrong number. That's what they called me. In high school, I was called a lot of things. I was called Carrot Top, which those are green. What the hell? Better than Carrot Bottom. That'd be stupid. Ginger is the worst one though. But they didn't call me that in high school. I only got that recently because of that fucking South Park episode. I was made fun of in so many ways, and then South Park's like, "What about this one?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that one too." Okay. Thanks for the ammo. Ginger actually, ginger comes from, it originally comes from England, not South Park, but England. And in England, it's used constantly. There's a supermarket chain, one of the biggest ones in England, called Sainsbury's. It has a Christmas card. It says, "Santa loves all children." You open it up and it says, "Even ginger ones." Why is that okay? Like, what if that were any other group of people? Like, Santa loves all children, even Mexicans. Like, would that be okay? That'd be ridiculous. Of course Santa loves Mexican children. They make the toys. Like, why wouldn't you love them? Why would you not love them? Oh, yes. Get offended instead of voting on immigration reform. It's a good strategy for change. Who else has a question? That doesn't make me relive something terrible about my childhood. This is why I do this for a living, because I was teased. Like, I was teased a lot as a kid, because I have red hair and everyone else is an asshole. What? Do the curtains match the drapes? What you're asking me is, do I dye my pubic hair? That's what you're asking me. Because I have red eyebrows, so clearly I'm a natural redhead. So do the curtain... And I love that that's the question. You can ask any question in the world. Why is the sky blue? Why do birds sing? What do your pubes look like? That's just where it goes immediately. I actually do dye my pubic hair. I don't really admit it. I do. I dye it many different colors. And then during a blowjob, I go, taste the rainbow. That's what I say. None of that is true. But thanks for the question. I went to a weird place, and I blame you. What do you got?
Have you ever jumped in a bowl wearing a chicken costume?
Have I ever jumped in a bowl wearing a chicken
pudding.
costume? Of pudding? Wearing, oh, well, that's a normal question. At first, just jumping in a bowl, like an empty bowl in a chicken costume, that would be ridiculous. But a bowl of pudding? Well, yes, of course. What is it that you're referencing exactly?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's just what's in your head. You've been watching the whole show and you've been going, bowl, pudding, chicken costume. And I made it happen for you. I see what your after party's going to be like. There was a dude on the side of 95 in a chicken costume. Yeah, and like there was like a barbecue joint, and there was a dude in the chicken costume that looked eerily lifelike. Because most chickens stand like this with a sign. Alright, that went to a weirder place. I somehow took diving into a bowl of pudding as a chicken and fucked it up somehow. What do you have in the back? What? Who is my favorite teacher? Do you know my teachers? Not Mrs. Gia. She was fucking terrible. And I hope to say that on television one day, so she knows. So she knows. I'm gonna be like, I love all my teachers. Well, there was one that was fucking mean. I learned nothing. No, my favorite teacher was probably Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown was my 6th grade teacher. She was not brown. Thank you as the minority representative to the room to ask the question. There's always one. There are 2 or 3. Are you on the school brochure by any chance? Are you really? Holy shit. Like, no, they haven't taken the new picture yet. There was a guy last year who was on the school brochure. Next year. Fantastic. It's what you should do. Go to the picture and have a shirt change so that you could be on the brochure twice. They'll put you in shaking your own damn hand somehow. They'll do it. My favorite teacher was Mrs. Brown because that was the year that I stood up to my school bully. Let me tell you the story. This was like Lifetime movie shit. Like this totally should have. I was a scrawny little kid. I know, shocking. And this kid, what happened was, I had a cousin of mine was murdered, and this was a big story in New York. It was on the front page of the paper. He was a political activist, and he was murdered. And it was like in current events for our class that day, and I was kind of freaking out a little bit, and so I leave the room, and then he starts teasing me about it. Because bullies are always well-adjusted people who know when to quit. And so he started teasing me about it. He was like, oh, you gonna get murdered too? And yeah, and it kept up the rest of the day. And finally, we were in like the assembly in the auditorium, and he said it again. I turned and I hit him. And I don't know how I even knew that was a possibility. Like, I don't even know. I turned and I hit him, just a right cross, and he stumbled back, which was weird, because usually, like, he was like a square. Just like a square of mean, you know? And you think that squares have good balance, you know? But squares aren't used to tipping over, so once it starts happening, he's like, what is this? What is this strange sensation? And so he fell backwards into an auditorium chair, and he broke the chair. I know, like this great moment, like I knocked in him. I was like, I hit him so hard he broke the chair. No, I tapped him a little bit, he tripped and he broke the chair. But still, I got credit for it, you know? But the best part of the story, this is why I love Mrs. Brown, because we get taken over to the principal, and Mrs. Brown, you know, knows us, you know, we're her students, and they're like, you guys want to fight? And I was like, yes, I hit him in the face. And she turns to him and goes, what did you do? That's a teacher who knows who the good students are. Because I was this little version of like, who else has a question? What do you got?
Where's the worst place you did stand up and why?
Where's the worst place I did stand up and why? Not here. I am having a lovely time. I'm crossing state lines after the show, but I am having a lovely time.
Hey, you got toothpaste.
I did get toothpaste. Yeah, that was because there was like a dental event in here before. Is that right? There was a dental event in here, and they had like these mini toothpastes, and I joked, and I was like, oh, that's like gold to a comic because we fly all the time. Those are travel-sized toothpastes. And then Diane was like, well, here, and brought me like 20 toothpastes. And I was like, that's to me, that's like handing me a $20 bill. I'm like, okay, I will take your 20 toothpastes. And I'm very glad I'm not flying back, because you can have one travel toothpaste, but if you try to get through security with 20 travel toothpastes, they're gonna be like, this guy is building something. You're like, or he has no teeth whatsoever. You're like, I really need the toothpaste. I only got one left. And they'd be like, he's coming from Bullhead City, that might be true. That might be true. The worst place I've ever performed, I did a show for the KKK once.
Oh!
Don't look at me like I knew it ahead of time. My agent didn't call me like, hey, I got a gig for you. Who's it for? The KKK? How much? Like, that's not what happened. I was doing a bar gig in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and that's all I knew about it. And I show up, and there are these two guys there, and they're like really excited to meet the comedians, because you know they had never met a comedian or knew what one was. And so they start just telling us jokes, and by jokes I mean racist theories, because there wasn't even joke structure to most of them. Like every now and then they'd have one that resembled a joke a little bit, like they'd be like, yeah, you know, I don't like who? Black people? Uh-oh. Like that kind of. And my friends start laughing, but they're not laughing in the, hey, this is really funny kind of way. They were laughing in the, can you believe this is where we're going to die kind of way, you know? Which is a slightly more terrified laugh. And so these guys take that as validation and they unload. They just unload and they start telling us the worst things I've ever heard, and they show us that they are card-carrying members of the KKK.
Oh, God.
Did you know there were membership cards? I didn't know there were membership cards. Why do you need a membership card? What do you get, like 10% off of the dry cleaner? Because there are a lot of sheets. There's an awful lot of laundry. That's their whole life. Laundry and hatred. That's all they do. Laundry and hatred. Hatred, laundry, laundry, hatred, hatred, laundry. Hatred, laundry, laundry, hatred. Always separating the whites from the colors. Like, that's what they do. Just constantly. They're like, these colors won't run. Well, some of them do. But point being, I didn't want to talk to these yokels, right? But I had to do my set, I had a contract to fulfill, and I had to do my set. But a lot of my act is progressive politics and being Jewish. And so I didn't know what to do, because Jews have two very long traditions. Is anyone here Jewish? Really? Are you serious? This is how few minorities they have here. They have to combine one. They're like, we're not going to have a black and a Jew. Let's just have a black Jew. Okay, that's... I thought you were fucking with me because my sister's black. My sister's black. She's adopted, which is the part that you figured out when I told you she was black.
Not true.
What?
Not true.
Not true? Really?
Yeah.
You think, why would I suddenly lie to you? My sister, why would I just be like, well, I have an adopted sister, I just wanted to fit in. I just realized you're wearing a Jewish star. Holy shit, you're not just black, you're Sammy Davis black. You're, like, that's awesome. No, my sister is adopted. She's adopted. She's 14 months older than me. And I figured out when I was a little kid and I was doing like one of those school projects, I was 8 years old, and I was doing this like family tree school project, and I figured out that, wait a second, if she's 14 months older than me, then it was only 5 months before my mother got pregnant with me, after adopting a girl, and I figured all that out. And as an 8-year-old, I said, "Mommy, was I a mistake?" And she said, "No, honey, you were a surprise." And my brother said, "Steve, you were a disaster." So that would be so weird. Like, why would you doubt that that was true? Like, that would be such an asshole thing to do.
No, I was really thinking that she was your real sister and not adopted.
Oh, that she was my real sister. Well, she is my real sister.
I mean,
It's like, she's not a decoy. Just a cardboard cutout of a black girl. Like, this is my sister. He's totally my sister. You meant biologically.
it's happened.
It's happened. As pale as I am, you think that I'm getting sunburned from that fluorescent light right now. I wear SPF so strong, I open the bottle and a long sleeve shirt comes out. Like, that's how pale I am.
Yeah, that's pale, bro.
That is pale. Although, get used to it. You live in Arizona, and you're black. Everything's pale here. The Mexican people are pale in Arizona. Where were we going with this? I have no idea what the question was.
Sammy Davis.
What? Sammy Davis. No, that's where we went. That's not where we were going. We veered off the interstate to that exit. The KKK story. Right. I completely forgot. I was telling a heartwarming story about the Ku Klux Klan. So here's the thing. There are two very proud, and by the way, I think there are more Jews here. We're just a quiet people.
I'm a cashew.
You're a cashew? Catholic Jew? Which side is your mother Jewish or your father?
Yep, mom.
Your mom is Jewish.
I was born Jewish but baptized Catholic. But
You were born Jewish but baptized Catholic. Because you were born Jewish and they're like, we're not going to have that. Where are you from originally?
Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah, that makes sense. What part of Virginia?
Williamsburg.
Williamsburg. Oh, Colonial Williamsburg. Yeah, they didn't have Jews back then. So when you were born, they were like, this does not fit in with young times. We must baptize it Catholic.
But I guess it worked out for the better because I moved to Italy.
Worked out for the better because you moved to Italy. Oh yes, Jews are not doing well there historically. About 60 years ago, we ran into some shit. That's why we're quiet people, actually. Because last time someone rounded all the Jews in the room, some shit went down. So now we keep a little quiet. Stay with me, German people. Anyway, so you live there, you know. So anyway, Jews have two very important traditions. One is pride in who we are and where we're from, and the other is survival. And that's the one that won out that day. Because I went on stage and I was like, I'm not going to talk about being Jewish. I went on stage and did the hackiest hour of shit comedy I could ever do. I was like, men and women are different, and so are cats and dogs, and airplanes have the tiniest peanuts. For an hour of just garbagey comedy. And then I get off stage and I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to sell CDs after this one. So I pack up my stuff and I go to leave, and the Ku Klux Klan is between me and the exit.
Oh my god.
You ever have that moment in your life? When the Ku Klux Klan is blocking your one exit of a room? Have you ever had? I had that moment. Yeah, the one exit. We were on the second floor. I couldn't climb out a window or something. I would need a rope. I'm like, I could probably borrow one from them. They probably have one, right? Tied to their bumper, I'd assume. So I was like, I'm just gonna man up, and I'm just gonna face it. I'm like, I've had a good run. This is where it ends. So I go to leave, and the Ku Klux Klan dude goes, ah! That's the mating call of the Ku Klux Klan. Ah! Yes? Can I help you? No, I was like, yeah, what can I do for you? And he goes, you was funny as shit. Oh my god, I have got to put that on my website. That is amazing. You was funny as shit. KKK. Like, that's... I'd lose a few gigs, but it would be totally worth the joke. I got time for one more. I don't know who wins yet. These are all pretty good. I got time for one more. What do you got? Have I ever been to the Grand Canyon? I have. Yes or no questions don't usually lead to much. What have I done fun here? Oh, you consider that here. How far is the Grand Canyon? 2 hours? 3 hours. Oh, yeah, I've also been to Los Angeles. Is that yours too? Been to Vegas a few times. Well, yeah, what fun have I done here? No, I have been to the Grand Canyon. It's fucking huge. But we were, puritanical back when they named it. And so they didn't name it accurately. They just said it's grand. No, it's fucking huge. Grand is like when you see a big church. Oh, that's grand. The canyon, it's fucking huge. But that would be great. Go like, welcome to the fucking huge canyon. We have mule rides to the bottom. It's going to take a fucking long time. That's official. It's actually only going to take you about 2 hours to get to the bottom, the same time you could drive to Bullhead City, which apparently owns the Grand Canyon. I did enjoy it a great deal. I enjoyed it. I was afraid a bit, because I was like, I'm going to fall. That would hurt a lot. Because it's fucking huge. Oh, I gotta make a postcard now. Just a picture of it and say, the fucking huge canyon. Grow up. All right, I'll take one more question because I haven't decided. Yes, and it's fitting. We'll end with Diane, who's responsible for this. Unless you didn't enjoy the show, then it's all my fault. But if you enjoyed it, she can take credit.
I want to know what you're doing in LA now.
What am I doing in LA?
How you just moved from New York.
Yes, I just moved from New York. I am tanning a great deal. I actually, by the time I closed the car door, I burst into flames. Which is why this looks like, okay. I moved out there for writing work. I do punch-up. That's why I moved out there. Punch-up is basically like when a script sucks. They're like, find someone to make this suck less. But then don't take any of their suggestions. Okay, that sounds like it's gonna work. That sounds like... so yes, I moved out there to do that, and then who knows what else. I was on LA radio today. Magic, I was here.
Woo!
Ooh. But then again, LA, I mean, it's only like 4 hours from here. I mean, it's practically here. So I called, which we were in the same time zone, which was good, because that doesn't always happen, because you guys are fucking crazy. Arizona's the last holdover. It's the last state that doesn't do daylight savings time. Even Indiana voted on it, and they're stupid. Even Indiana was like, you know what, they voted on time, which is weird, because the rest of us vote on civil rights and war, and Indiana's like, we're going to tackle time this year. You can't vote on time. It moves and you accept it. There ain't anything you can do. You can't wake up like 7:30, fuck it, it's 6, and go back to bed. We would do that. They said that they didn't have it. I don't know what Arizona's excuse is, but they don't have it because they didn't want to trick the cows. That's a real quote from a newspaper. The Indianapolis Star, not a small paper, the biggest paper in the state of Indiana. We didn't want to trick the cows. That means someone said that, someone else wrote it down. A third person edited it, and a fourth person published it. None of them said, this is going to make us look fucking stupid. Do you think we should say this? I've never seen that happen. Just a field full of cows. One of them goes, "This son of a bitch, I thought it was 3. What the hell, man? I am never going to have enough time to stand here and do nothing." But yes, writing was the answer to that question. I have a little ADD head. I kind of go, I'm like, ooh, shiny, demon. Like, that's what I do. You can't put that in a room with a guy with a microphone and a sense of humor and expect me to be like, yeah, that's normal, that's totally... I'm so glad it's facing you guys and not me. If that was in the back of the room, the whole show, I would just be like, there's a demon, there's a demon, there's a demon, there's a demon. That would make a very difficult show. Well, who wins? I think the pubes question. Yeah, that win. Good for you. I hope you've learned your lesson. I don't think most people dye their pubes. Most people shave. A lot of people shave. But I've never seen anyone with like a little brush just going... Then again, I've never seen anyone shave them either, because that would be weird if I was like, just watch that for a while. I just assume it just happens. It's not like magic where they just wake up and be like, oh, someone stole my pubes! Like, I don't think that. Quickly, who had the most to gain? Interview all the bald men in the neighborhood. Gross. Anyway, I hope you guys had a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time. I appreciate you guys participated when I asked you to, especially because I did not write enough new material since the last show. So you guys were cool with me just making shit up. So I appreciate that. I also have I like that you weren't yelling weird shit at me, which is good. Like, you asked me questions, crazy ones, I might add. But you asked me questions, but you didn't, like, interrupt me, which is good. Don't interrupt a comedian. Don't ever do that, because we are funnier than you. And I don't mean to bruise egos. Everyone thinks they're funny, and that's okay. Every guy especially. Every guy in this room is like, I'm funnier than that guy. My dick is bigger too. Every guy in here. And for God's sakes, I'm 6'4". I'm funny. Joke for the ladies. If you, I actually, wait, before I show that shirt, I should tell the joke on the shirt. I actually told the guy I was funnier than him once, and he got mad at me, like genuinely mad at me. He's like, you're not funnier than me. I'm like, sir, I'm a professional comedian. Clearly I'm funnier than you. Because you're a douche. I'm a what? You're a feminine hygiene product, man. So I told him he was right. I am a douche. I am. Because after I had sex with his mom, she smelled better. No one's offended. You're going to use that tomorrow. Every last one of you. Next time someone calls you a douche, you're going to hope someone calls you a douche. You're going to go home and start doing douchebaggy things just to make it happen. And if no one calls you a douche, and you want it to happen, leave your phone on during the show. But if no one calls you a douche, you want it to happen, you get this shirt. It's cool. It says, ask me why I'm a douche. Mother's Day is right around the corner.